We're hearing that there might be a slight auction at the end of IPL in the city of Sharjah, with the number of balls that are flying out of the stadium every single time two teams play at the Sharjah cricket stadium. And guys in UAE might get richer when they auction these cricket balls. But what a fantastic display from Chris Gale yesterday, 29 ball 51. And in company of Mandeep Singh, who scored a half century and looked up to the heavens and sort of wished that his father was looking down on him. And what a fantastic knock from the opener as well. Kings and Punjab commanding 8-wicket win. They managed to somehow finish it off before they went into the final over, arresting the trend that was there with them. And with this, the Knight Riders obviously falling to a loss, and Punjab entering the top four for the first time in IPL after having spent the first half of IPL at the bottom of the points table. Important win for Punjab. We will talk about that, and we'll also talk about the Indian squads that were announced yesterday for the tour of Australia on Sportskeeda's IPL series Power Play. I am your host Prasen Makal, and along with me is our cricket expert Indranil Basu. Yeah, Indranil, yesterday's review show, we spoke about expecting a gale storm yesterday, and that's exactly what happened.
Absolutely, but before the gale storm happened, an important aspect also, was there in the game, which was you talked about Mandeep Singh looking up, and there is a superpower which really governs us. There is no two ways about it, and this was the same team which was only promoting the Karnataka players, and there's nothing wrong with it, but you have to promote the right talent, and Mandeep was always the right talent. Look at the way he's come back. It's not easy to go out there and score those runs that easily, that the way he did, and he remained unbeaten. He was staying till the end, and you're replacing a guy who's in form, Mayank Agarwal, who's come back into all the formats of the game in the Indian squad, right? He's there in T20 squad also, Mayank, and also and because Rohit is not there, so that's why he's getting that sort of encouragement. But yes, Mandeep has to be really praised. And it's not easy, Prasen, because you're warming the bench for such a long time, and then you get a game and you go out there and do what you do. What you did yesterday was what he did yesterday was phenomenal, really. And Chris Gale, less said the better. Just is getting better and better with age, which is vintage Christopher Gale, and he's the universe boss. He showed it once again. And pick the best bowler, the bowler he's always seen growing up, which is Sunil Narine, hitting him for those six. He was absolutely clueless, because once a big player gets into the act on a big occasion and sort of a match, a must-win match for the Kings, and the way he came and conquered. The captain was back in the pavilion early, or everything put together. It was a fine display of batsmanship. What control over things, and never looked in a rush, and the bowlers also did so well, to be able to restrict a team like KKR, which could be explosive on their given day, but maintaining them under 150. Well, that was a commendable effort as well, Prasid.
Yeah, Mohammad Shami striking early with the new ball. Kolkata Knight Riders, they were put into bat by KL Rahul, and Mohammad Shami took 3 early wickets, reduced them to 10 for 3. And Shubman Gill and Ian Morgan had to pretty much steady the batting effort, and eventually, if not for Lockie Ferguson's important cameo towards the end, they probably would have finished with a below par 120 or 130. So the Knight Riders batting looking very unstable as we head towards the last 2 or 3 matches as well.
Certainly, the only the big thing, the shining bit about their batting is Shubman Gill, who's been picked in all formats of the game again. And we had predicted on our shows previously that our Shubman Gill is going to be the next star. That's what the team management believes, and they've supported him. The selectors have endorsed the thought of the team management, and that's why he's there. He's batting beautifully. Yesterday was one such occasion when Shubman was in that kind of a flow, which is so important for a batsman. He's really got that classy approach to the game. You look at his head position, his elbow, his back leg, everything is just about perfect. The way he gets to the pitch of the ball. Once in a while, he'll play those slog shots also, just to unsettle the opposing the opponent captain. He's got all those tactics of for big player. He's got the temperament of a big player, the way he goes around doing his business. And what I really like, when he hits those lofted shots, he gets to the pitch of the ball, and he knows where he's hitting the ball. Those elements are very important, and that's why there has to be a reason why is he called the future Indian star. And this is the reason we saw last night. And he's been very consistent, more or less the only consistent batsman KKR has, the only shining light in that entire squad in terms of batting. Otherwise, the entire squad is definitely struggling. There's no two ways about it. We've seen it in the past games, how they have been doing it. They've been topsy-turvy. They've been mostly down. They've been up in certain games, but now Kings have taken over. What a game they had yesterday. And KKR, you just lost it the day you decided to change your captain. And I was very vocal about it, how they shouldn't have changed the captain after only 3 losses and 4 wins. They could have continued with the captain. And captain, they said, had given up the post of captaincy, just on his own, which is very tough to believe. We know how it feels to be leading an IPL franchise. No one would give up that easily, and not Dinesh Karthik. That Dinesh Karthik we have known over the years. He's not given up keeping. When Dhoni was there, he was still doing his business. He was still scoring runs for Tamil Nadu. He was still around. He came back as a batsman. He's not going to give up that easily. The fact that he had to come out and say those words that he's quitting captaincy and giving it to Morgan for a specific reason. He wants the team to do well. He wants to concentrate on his batting. That was not a good decision. And it's showing. And I had predicted that they will not going to make it the way, they're not going to play the way they shouldn't be playing. And another blotch, another sort of shortcoming they have in the team is they don't have any local connect. KKR doesn't have a single player from Calcutta or West Bengal, which is, and they call themselves KKR. At least Kings 11 Punjab can boast of having a Mandeep Singh winning the match, and they have the pacer Singh from left arm seamer, who's also doing well, getting wickets regularly. Overall, Kings really deserve for backing their right talent. Eventually they did, and they have won 5 matches in a row, which is commendable. And those 4 wins have come against the top teams in the competition. Rajasthan Royals, Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals, and Kolkata Knight Riders. Now they have entered the top 4. And the team like Kings 11 Punjab, the way they have picked themselves up, don't play the playoff game, the entire charm of IPL will go, Prasen.
Yeah, and they have won against RCB, Mumbai, Chennai, and the Delhi Capitals, and they're looking really, really good. But in a way, did the Knight Riders lose the plot when they didn't introduce Lockie Ferguson early on? Because it was always going to be a challenging total to defend, and Chris Gayle did settle in early. He started off well. They did lose KL Rahul for a 25 ball 28, but did they keep Lockie Ferguson for too late? He came in only in the 12th over, and by then Gayle had already hit a 9 ball 20.
You're right, partially, but the captain is on the field. You can't challenge those observations too much, because his decisions, through our observations, because
But who was he saving him for then, if not for Gayle and to get the top order?
You're right. Because when you have the best batsman from the opponent side batting, and you have to put up the best bowler, on display. That didn't happen for certain. This is what you have the best. You have a battery of army, and you're fighting a war, and you're keeping your best soldiers for the things to happen later on. No, you have to send them up front. This is what cricket teaches you all the time. If you lose early wicket, you don't send a tail ender to save your skin. No, you have to go yourself if you're the captain. So that's important, that the captain also uses the other resources he has. But match situation, what was the thought behind it? It's always a thought going in. But Morgan, you can't challenge him too much, because he's always been a champion of a captain for England. He's won the World Cup also. But somehow I feel they have lost the plot completely. From that decision to drop Dinesh Karthik hasn't gone down well with the squad, for sure. We've seen Kuldeep Yadav also not playing regularly. We've seen Mavi coming in and out. Nagarkoti also. I mean, there is no certainty. You have to have a certainty in the team. Once you get up early in the morning, you go for breakfast with that assurance, I'm going to play the game today. There is no assurance happening from that camp, which is why it's being reflected on the field the way they are performing. I'm not surprised. I would not bet at this stage to see KKR in top four. They don't deserve to be also, because they have been really mistreating their players. Uh, no one has said this because everyone is gagged. Everyone is trying to say all the goody things about the game, about the teams, about the owners. But there are 30 years to call spade a spade at the end of the day. And KKR management didn't give a very good impression when you drop the captain the way you did. And this is called unceremonious exit of Dinesh Karthik. That has really percolated to all levels, and it's not going to help their cause for sure. Prasan, this is cricket. This is all mind game. If your mind is not in good space, I don't think you stand a chance to win any battle. It's all as I keep saying, most of the battles are won and lost in the minds only before the first ball is bowled in a game. And that's why yesterday I was 100% sure Kings are going to go all the way, because KKR has just lost the plot. I mean, to go ahead and march ahead and put that sort of thread, that fear of God inside this heart of of the oppositions, which they did in 2018. As I mentioned, 2018, Chennai Super King were the champions, and the playoff happened. They were just praying for one team which doesn't come into their in front of them, and that was KKR. And KKR lost out. They didn't play the final, fortunately. I think they qualified for. I think they qualified for the last four, or they were fourth or fifth team, if I'm not mistaken. But they were really scared. That was the KKR which was different, because Russell was in form, he was scoring, and now we have a sort of team which is not performing consistently. I think there is a lot of work to be done, and the best, the best thing one can do is give assurance to the players, give job security. They haven't managed to give that to the players.
Yeah, talking about job security, again, Kuldeep Yadav didn't play yesterday. Varun Chakravarti played. And, I mean, I think we've spoken about the match, but moving on, Kuldeep Yadav, he hasn't played this. He wasn't good last IPL. He hasn't played too much this IPL. And as a result, he's lost his spot in the T20 squad for the Tour of Australia. And Varun Chakravarti is a surprise inclusion, and Dinesh Karthik's backing of Varun Chakravarti from the TNPL into the IPL has been a real success story.
Absolutely, and that's why I rate Dinesh Karthik to be really, really good player. He knows the talent. He's played when Dhoni was playing for India and never gave an opportunity to any of the wicket keepers around. Dinesh Karthik was playing domestic cricket and playing, as you said, right, he said TNPL. He knows those players, and that's why he backed it. He was the possibly the best choice to lead KKR to the next level, but KKR got really impatient. They wanted results immediately, change over to Captain Morgan before, and they should have done it long before the season started. Why did they wait for 7 games to change a captain? Who changes a captain midway through? It means you don't have confidence on your captain, on your squad, right? It really clearly throws that kind of impression. And Varun Chakravarti, of course, he's done well. He's doing well in T20. So there's no surprise that he wouldn't have been there. And Kuldeep, they played with his confidence. He's fortunately still there in the ODI team. You don't play with the confidence of a player. That's you're committing a sin by doing that. It's not easy playing there, really. Mark my words, it's not easy playing for any other IPL franchisee. Kind of standard of cricket which is there, the kind of bowling which happens, kind of batting which happens, kind of catches which are taken. The standard is very good. And if someone is not doing well, least you could do is just go put your hand around that player's shoulder and just give him some soothing words, make him feel at home. Don't throw him out. That's not the way. That's not cricket. That's not cricket.
Yeah. And if you just look at the Kings and Punjab as well, you spoke about how players need to be backed, and that's what they're doing. Finally, they're getting their combination right. They've backed their players for a large part of the second half of this IPL, and the players are reaping the rewards of that consistent backing. Apart from the fact that Kings themselves are reaping the rewards, but Murugan Ashwin, Ravi Bishnoi have formed a great spin pair. Chris Jordan has given them returns. Mohammad Shami is back in form, and the batting's looking really good. Probably the only weak link, so to say, is probably Glenn Maxwell's form, but the Kings 11 Punjab are looking unstoppable, similar to what the Mumbai Indians are.
Absolutely, you're so right, Prasin. And the way Glenn Maxwell was backed by the management, that's a case study that how one should back your players, even though the chips are down, you have to back them at any cost, and that's what they're reaping the benefits. You've got a Mayank Agarwal who's scoring runs at the top of the order. He's not part of the 11, and Mandeep Singh comes and puts his hand up. This is called energy. This is called good energy, positive energy. You have to respect this energy, and this energy is created by one gentleman called KL Rahul, which is he makes a comeback in the test squad, which is what we also discussed on previous shows, that KL Rahul is going to be unstoppable. He's going to open the innings for India. We hope so. KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal, because Rahul can really negotiate the new ball well. He's batting beautifully. He's the highest scorer in the competition, and he's looked good as always. Yesterday wasn't his day. It's all right with that, but the way they have done, the top heavy thing, the middle order, the way they have got Christopher Gale. With due respect to Karnataka, I'm not taking anything away from Karnataka. Karnataka's contribution to Indian cricket is immense, but just imagine if Karun Nair would have been playing still. I mean, do you imagine Karun Nair given this kind of result? He's a good batsman. He's a second batsman to get a triple hundred in Test cricket after Virendra Sehwag. I'm not going to undermine him, but you have to back the right players also. They might do well, might do good on certain days, but you have to back him. But Karun Nair wasn't fitting into the scheme of things. They kept continuing. Then Gautam is another cricketer. He was given the 20th over in one of the games that came, under a lot of criticism from critics. KL Rahul was basically, he was told that he needs to learn the tricks of the trade so convincingly. And I remember before the RCB game, he had a little interaction, KL Rahul and Virat Kohli on the game, and that was a conversation where he said, that AB de Villiers and and Virat Kohli should be banned from playing IPL because the sheer bulk of scoring they have done over the years, 5,000 runs they have scored together. They partnered in 5,000, which is a huge number. And KL was saying that. And it's so cool the way he was talking after that run started. They beat RCB, then they beat Delhi Capital. And they've been brilliant, really. And if they don't play the final from here on, I'll be really surprised. First thing first, they have to be in the top 4, which is what they're looking good to be there. The confidence is high. And the fact that they've gone through all the rigmarole, all those finishes, on all those close games, that has really given that sort of temperament to go out there and have that nerves of steel when it matters the most. And that's why KL, thanks to KL, Kings is looking so, they're really looking like Kings. It's this not the Kings we generally associate, which is the Chennai Super Kings. They're out. The new Kings have emerged, which is so good for IPL.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it was obviously a very commanding win for Punjab, and they've now got into the top 4. But one more side, the Delhi Capitals will be playing today. They are in the top 3. They're looking a little unstable with 2 losses from their past 2 games. But just before we head into the match, they've got Rishabh Pant in their squad, and he'll be hurting to be left out of the limited over squads.
It was always there on the cards. If you look the way things have happened over few matches, he's, as I said, he played in New Zealand, and Saha was dropped, and here also he'll start as the first choice as a wicketkeeper batsman because he scored 100 in Australia, he scored 100 in England, and but it's unfortunate that he couldn't show that sort of consistency in IPL. I still feel he was a little mature than what he used to be earlier. He's showing a little bit of maturity, but there are those flashes of inconsistency which creeps in, and that really spoils the show. He goes, for those shots. In batting, it's important to have that right shot selection, which Rishabh is yet to learn. It's not something you learn overnight. It comes with time. It comes with failures. It comes with when you're ready to go through those, those highs and lows. And he's going through a low phase when he's not been picked in the T20 squad, but there's nothing to worry. Sanju Samsung has done well with the bat. He's not as consistent as anyone in any top batsman you would see in world cricket, or a KL Rahul, who is also the main wicket keeper. He's the one who's going to replace MS Dhoni in all formats, in shorter formats. That's what we get that kind of understanding. That's what we are given to understand from the team. But they don't lose your heart. Never lose your heart. You lose your heart, it's over for you. You should never lose your heart. You should always go out there and do your bit every day. Every day is a new day. Carry all the confidence you can get. Because if you lose your heart, you start getting that energy. That energy I'm talking about Kings 11 Punjab. They have that positive energy, that positive vibe. Never allow any negative vibes to come and conquer you. Once you do that, you're dropped. You drop your shoulders. You have a long face. You lose your smile. It's never going to happen. It's after all life. You have to go through that ups and downs. If you're ready to do that, you're really going to enjoy this roller coaster ride called life. Life is a journey, really. It's not a destination that I have to play Australia. No, it's not like that. It's a journey. Enjoy the journey. You'll go through all that, those highs and lows, but keep yourself intact. Your sense of humor. Rishabh Pant, these are testing times. You're a good batsman. You're a talented batsman. You're someone who's still been conceived in the market, in the cricket fraternity, someone who can replace MS Dhoni. And that's not an easy thing. MS Dhoni is the champion of a cricketer. And since you're still being considered in that kind of a role, he can't fit into his shoes just immediately. It's going to take some time. Dhoni was not built in a day. It took time for Dhoni to become what he became, right? So Rishabh Pant has also got that talent, but he needs to be little down to earth, little flexible in his thoughts, little bit cautious with his approach, and yet show that aggression and keep that aggression all saved. You should all bottle it up and open it once when you go out and bat. And aggression mixed with caution, which is what batting is all about. The kind of batting Rishabh Pant does.
Yeah, and mixing caution with aggression is something hasn't happened with the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Is that something that they need to take on board and probably be a little more bit aggressive with the bat, considering that the Delhi Capitals have a fearsome bowling unit?
Absolutely. And last game, none of the batsmen could make it happen the way they expected. But this is how it is. They have lost 2 games. They looked invincible. All the teams have lost games to low-ranked teams. But you should also take that heart of after every game, that what are the positives. So I was present. This is all the people who are fortunate to join. And I have to tell you a story. Yesterday I was with this gentleman who gives throwdowns to. He stays in Gurgaon, and he gives throwdowns to Shikhar Dhawan. So and he was telling me stories about Dhawan, that days he doesn't score runs. So what does he do? He doesn't bat well. He played one particular shot in the nets, which he liked, and he's not convinced with his batting. So what he does that knocking practice of that one particular shot. When he goes back home, he goes back with that good memory, that happy space, that yes, I was playing that shot very convincingly. Everyone has a different, distinct style of operating, but you should always carry that confidence with you all the time. No one will give you that confidence, really, at some level. There will be more people who will be there to destroy you than to make you, to build you, to give you that confidence. The confidence should come from within. Don't expect people to come and tell you what you have to do. As in old days, in 70s and 80s, when Tiger Pataudi used to lead the team, he never told the players what they should do. He knew players are there playing for India. They already know their job, right? You don't have to tell them. So similarly, confidence is such a thing. Either you have it or you don't have it. It's nice to get some encouraging words from the promoters, from the captain, from the team management, but the entire that thing, stuff called confidence, can only happen when you have it inside. You don't have it, no one can give it from it. Externally, it's not pumped in. It's not an injection, or it's not a drip. You just hang your hand and then the drip is pushed through your vein into your heart. It doesn't work like that. Confidence, either you have it or you don't have it. Simple.
Yeah, and but yeah, I mean, coming back to the match, final roll of the dice for Sunrisers today?
I don't think they have a chance, because if anyone can falter at the top, if Kings would falter, then KKR would probably do well, but I don't think Sunrisers have a chance. They might have an outside chance, but it's a distant dream. It's unfortunate, but they couldn't show those explosive nature of their batsmanship, which Warner used to carry once upon a time. Manish Pandey was brilliant in one of the games where he scored that 80s in with strike rate of nearly 160 70 or something. That was strike rate. But otherwise, he's been very ordinary. He should consider himself very lucky. He's still there in the team. Probably that knock saved him from getting axed from the short, these ODI team, and I think they're in T20 team also, right, Present?
Yeah.
So yeah, probably that knock helped him to save his position, but he's not looked that convincing. He can really bat well, but fact that you have to also get over these playing of dot balls, which we have discussed again, on previous shows, that you put so much pressure on the batting team. Overall, I feel it's a great team for Australia. The way they have made it, the way it's looking very good, and Rahane's and Pujara's, they're back in business, and Pujara has not been playing serious cricket for a long time, so he definitely needs a lot of practice out there. When he goes, he needs a lot of batting practice. This is one thing. Practice makes things perfect. If you're not batting in the nets and with that intensity, if you need to go into the nets, you're not getting enough match practice. That intensity that you're in the match, the thought that should always be nurtured, and I'm sure Pujara doesn't need to be told about that. The way they have failed in the last series against New Zealand, I think this series against Australia will be a defining series for both Rahane and Pujara. How they do it, that will ensure their place in the Test squad in the days to come, because there are a lot of youngsters knocking the door. Shubman Gill has already walked into the team. There are a lot of Patikal is not even considered. He's someone who can really change things right up the order. So Mandeep Singh doing well yesterday. There's a lot of talent. IPL has ensured there is so much talent in our country, and no player could take their place for granted. There's still a question mark why Rohit Sharma is not there. For all those who've joined in, Rohit Sharma wasn't there in the New Zealand tour also, but he was on a personal tour to Europe with his family when we were, and they said it's a hamstring injury. Then we are also hearing conflicting reports that he could still play IPL. So we don't know what's happening in that front. He's definitely got an injury, and there are pressures from the franchise to ensure he plays. Because Rohit Sharma, if he doesn't score, also if he just stands there and delivers, that is good enough as a captain. The bowling changes, the way he carries the team. He's a great captain. That's why he's got 4 wins. But the fact that he's not part of the Test team, that has raised a lot of questions. Why is he not there? Last time, I felt that was my personal observation. I think he chickened out of the New Zealand tour. He could have played. Probably he's resting. But if you're resting, why are you not at home? If you're really injured with your hamstring, you're going on a European tour. That seemed little unfair, and they tried new people in New Zealand. They lost 2-0. Rohit Sharma is again not there. Is he only going to play the home Test matches or something? I don't know, but he's not played that many Test matches for India. He's always had that grouse that he's not given that opportunity. When opportunity comes calling, the hamstring is also there. Hamstring problem is there. But how bad is it that you will completely ruled out of the team? You could have actually kept him, given him that confidence that you can come back anytime. If you can play IPL, it means there is something little juice still left on his legs, on his hamstring to play these matches. And we need Rohit Sharma for our country more than Mumbai Indians need Rohit Sharma as a captain, for sure. Because these guys are, after all, country comes first, not the club. So, this is a huge question mark. Even the former Indian captain and a very, very correct voice of Indian cricket, Mr. Sunny Gavaskar, also raised a question. What's happening behind the scene? Please come out in the open and tell us, Rohit Sharma, why you're not been picked for the Test team. And it's a long series. We are going to play 4 Test matches. And he should have definitely been there. I mean, we are hearing Ishant Sharma could be back for the Adelaide Test match. He could be fit. You never know. Bhuvneshwar Kumar is out. What kind of injuries do they actually serve that it just goes out? They just go out for so many months, so many weeks, which is so disappointing. And all this while, there was no cricket happening. and they got so much of rest. And then one IPL season you're injured, and then you're not there for the big series, which is the Australian series, the big ticket series, and you're not there. You're not going to be there for the team to help the team because is it the bouncy tracks? I'm not sure, because Rohit Sharma is not scared of bounce at all. He's one of the best players of short bowling. So what is the real story? We really want to know that. I hope someone, in one of the shows, we'll come out with that. Why Rohit Sharma is not part of the test team, which is the Australian-bound test team, which with the Indian selectors picked yesterday. This is a really surprising present.
Yeah, absolutely. But we will mostly get the answer when either today evening or when Mumbai Indians face off against RCB tomorrow. But today we've got a good clash.
I don't think Rohit will play today, because that will.
No, today they're not playing. Tomorrow's Mumbai.
There'll be a lot of backlash if he plays. If he's not there in the squad for the test team and he's playing IPL today, there'll be a lot of backlash.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow
Mumbai.
Yeah. So there'll be a lot of backlash. I'm sure about it. So I don't think till that time they don't come up with a proper reasoning as to why he's not there in that test squad. I don't think we should draw a conclusion right away. We are discussing the observations we have. He certainly didn't play the New Zealand tour. He's someone who's really good at playing short deliveries. You can wake him up at night, middle of the night, stroke of midnight, tell him to go and pad up, and he has to face short deliveries. He's ready. That's the kind of batsman you're talking about. Very composed and very, very complete when it comes to short bowling, playing short bowling. And Rohit Sharma is number one in India. So I don't think he's scared of the pitches. What is he scared of? There's injury. He's still playing IPL. Then why is he playing IPL? If he's rule him out completely of the IPL, why has Mumbai Indians not done that? So there's a lot of question to be asked.
Yeah, we will possibly get to know tomorrow when if and when Kieron Pollard comes out to the toss and he's asked a question, or even the Mumbai Indians release an announcement. But for today, we've got an important clash. Sunrisers facing off against the Delhi Capitals. A very important match for both the sides. The Delhi Capitals can go to the top of the table. Sunrisers will need those 2 important points to stay in the hunt for the top 4. But a lot more on that, and analysis of the playing 11s and fantasy tips will be brought to you at 7 p.m. today as part of our Sportskeeda's IPL series Power Play. But for the review show of Kolkata versus Punjab, and obviously discussions and observations on the Indian squad for the tour of Australia, that's it from us, our cricket expert Indranil Basu and myself, Prasen Maudgal. Thank you so much, viewers, for tuning in, and do join us at 7 p.m. for the preview show of today's SRH versus the Delhi Capitals clash. Thank you so much.
See you tomorrow, viewers. Bye.